and we'll be back with more giveaways after this, but we're going to head back to the main stage where I think Damarcus is now on stage.
Oh, snap.
D-Man.
Cool. Enjoy. See you guys later.
All right, well, I think we are back now. Again, we're at Firefall Fest. We've been talking about the Blackwater anomaly. We just played it, and it was the most amazing thing I've ever seen, like, ever.
Intense.
Having a bunch of noobs who
Intense.
run it was actually kind of cool. And you guys aren't noobs at it anymore.
No,
Yes!
anymore.
We
We've
graduated.
leveled up.
Top of the
We
Blackwater
graduated.
cherry. Yay! Well, we have Damarcus Holbrook here with us, who is one of the artists, the world builder, senior world builder, who helped build that amazing thing. So we wanted to ask him some rad questions. So Damarcus, I think the first thing that I find really interesting is your background, because you have been around for a while. You're a veteran, and yet you look so young. I don't know how that's possible, but tell us sort of how you got your start in the game industry.
Yeah, so I started off at Valve. I got really lucky there. I started in film, and then we worked on League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, and I built up a lot of architecture and stuff like that. And then I put my work up on CG Talk, and then got a call from Valve, and one of my buddies kind of helped that connection happen.
Down.
Yeah, and then they were really looking forward to seeing some of the architecture, and wanted me to bring some of the stuff in Detroit. I'm from Detroit, so there's a lot of
Detroit
destroyed
pride.
building, a lot of destruction, so here and there. But there's beautiful areas too. So I wanted to bring that to the game, and the guys there at Valve, they trained me and kind of took me into the group, and yeah, so those skills have always helped me move on to other studios, and so here at Red 5, that's what we're bringing.
Yeah, you have gone to some companies that have some really cool cultures. I mean, I know that Valve has been talked about as one of the special companies in terms of their culture and how they stick together. And I know we certainly at Red 5 value our culture and sticking together and being the tribe. So it's kind of cool that you've been able to have that experience.
No, it's great. The studio before this was 38 Studios, and we had a similar culture, and it's just kind of the way to be. Just working as a team and as a group, respecting each other and learning how each other ticks so that we can work better as a group. And that's largely what we do, here at Red 5, and that's why, Blackwater was so easy, because of our team was so awesome.
How many people did it take to make that? I mean, that was massive. It was a massive work.
It really is.
Yeah, it took a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people, but the trick is timing and how we pace things out. You start with, a design on paper, myself and Clancy, and a couple of other devs, Doug and Michael Tuna and David. We all sat in a room. I like to do this thing called Free Your Mind, where we just talk about, ideas of what this place could be. We talk about design. We talk with narrative. Richard Piercy about where the story is going. And with that, we brew up an environment, a space. We started doing sketches.
And you're talking about actual paper, like analog.
Actual paper.
Actual paper.
Some of us bring in clay, whatever you need to do. If you can't
That's
draw,
right.
it's okay. You can just talk, And,
So you're thinking about story from day one.
oh yeah,
when you
yeah,
do these.
absolutely, yeah. Because you want to, well, it's the game. It has to be it has to be fun, and then it has to, the narrative is just what helps drive the story. Some of the details, I heard one of you guys blurt out, live together or die together or something like that. Those are little details that we purposely put there. My buddy Doug, he's brilliant with this kind of thing, like placing the dead bodies in a specific direction so we can guide the player. Also so all those cues are on
Corpse
purpose.
litter.
I didn't even.
There's a strategy to your corpses
it's a
around a map.
And
You
I
didn't know.
noticed what was so cool about that is some areas look so beautiful, and then you also saw some of the creepiest, scariest things at the
Yes.
same time. So it's just the different moods that you get from the different art.
Cool. Yeah, one of the biggest things here at Red 5 is Adam McMahon, our director. He really wants to go for a contrasting, really colorful, place, even if we want to go dark with it. So one of the things that I was talking about with the group, let's go for we want to bring the contrast in more, and then bring in more purples and blues because it has to feel a little scary, but still pretty, not Barney purple. Maybe a little Barney in there. But yeah, the color
We can make
helps
you your
direction.
own Barney purple.
I would love a Barney purple
Okay,
suit.
duly noted.
We might be able to do
A
that.
Barney
Yeah.
juggernaut skin.
Sorry, not
Oh,
to derail on
nice.
purple, but I mean, it's my favorite color.
That's
so.
cool.
Beautiful.
Yeah, lighting is huge. I mean, it's how we direct your eye, and we especially in that kind of melee when you've got fire all over the place. You've got got hill circles that aren't quite hilling the whole team, unless they do.
We
but
did really well with
you
that.
Did, you did awesome. I give
Morgan
you
is
props.
great.
It was
You did
amazing.
great.
Yeah.
Normally I'll be like, heel circle, a minute, and people are just like,
Oh,
you guys were
nailed
on
90%
it.
of
You
those.
were
Yeah,
on it.
I can't
Those
take
were
credit.
awesome.
You guys did great. You just kind of missed the anomaly in the end,
Hey.
but that's okay.
No,
I
that
thought
one
that
got
was
it.
until we decided we weren't going to mention
Sorry,
it.
That one
sorry.
got it. We may have gotten a little excited about our angel glider pad wings, but
She told us
as long
run,
as
and
we
I
were-
was out of there.
Right. I was,
We were
I
running
was-
with ballers, and they remembered. That's all that matters.
You made it. You made it. You got to the exit on time, so I can't hate.
Called us out on that.
So you were there. It was very clear that as you were progressing through it, the scene was changing. But
Yes.
it was a very fluid change. But you would get to an area where you feel like, okay, this is definitely like a boss sort of room.
Awesome. Yeah.
But it was seamless transition into it. You just sort of notice it.
Yeah.
Was that the sort of plan?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about with narrative. From the very beginning, on paper, we figure out, one of the things we like to think of is in the beginning, middle, and end. In the beginning, you want to set the mood and the tone. You're in a swampy area. It's kind of scary because you're just beyond the melding, but it does progressively get worse. To help tell a story as players move forward. So as you went on, you start to see a little bit of ooze. You're like, what is this? Oh, wait a minute, this hurts. This is different from the water, sort of.
That popsicle.
Popsicle.
Yeah, exactly. And then you see the change, and you start to see the level getting worse and worse. It gets darker. So we control your emotions with lighting, direction, and flow. And that's all done way in the beginning with narrative and design, and just art.
How long has this been in the works? Like, how long did it take you to go from this initial concept all the way? I mean,
To the end, but a
That's
little
a
under
lot.
3 months. A little under
only
3
3 months?
Yeah, because that's when you do a white box and do that. Take the time.
What does
take
that
2
mean?
days.
Explain what white box
Okay. So
I have no idea.
okay, a white box is an early phase of world building, of design. Basically, once you figure out where your POIs, which are points of interest, where you want to drive the player to go, the A, B, and C, you basically do a very simple layout. And there's no textures on the wall, no detail. We only care about direction, how long it takes you to get to this point, where are the choke areas, how many times are you guys going to loop in one area. So that last little claw you guys were in, you kind of went around a circle. Those are things that are all designed. But white box is just a fast way to iterate really quick. If we're like, okay, wait a minute, this is taking too long.
Is this where you go from paper to?
Yeah, to like
to
a
model.
quick mock-up, and we get the team to just run through it, and everybody's like, man, this sucks. It takes too long to traverse this switchback, or there's not enough interest in one area, or it's too hard one spot. We can change that on the fly. We can do that stuff like in hours. And then meanwhile, the rest of us, we've got our concept guys working up the themes. In a white box, one of the biggest things we care about are, you were asking about scale earlier, is some of the bigger objects that would help create a wall essentially. So that, we use these giant trees that are really our walls, to keep people in the direction we want you to go. And then after we figure out, okay, we've got a nice path. This is our long route. This is our fast route. This is the most dangerous route.
Did we go the long
I think
route?
we kind of did the
You
longest,
guys
most
kind of
dangerous.
did the pretzel. we had to come up with a new name for what you guys did. Today. But it's cool. All good.
We made it our
You made
own.
it. It's no problem.
It worked,
Kinda
okay?
did
It
one of these
worked.
We were
numbers.
exploring.
Yeah, and that's
The
what I like to
explorer's
explore
route.
too. Yeah, it would have been my option. I like to explore too.
If you're doing a speed run, you don't do it the way that I had us do it.
Okay.
You go a little faster.
Well, something I think is cool too is just the characters themselves. You pick the different classes and their build, their gear.
Yeah.
It's like it has personality. All
Yeah.
of the different classes have their own personality
Right,
just off
yeah.
of their gear.
That's one of the things that inspired me about our game is, our team is so talented. Like the character team, the animators, man, they get in there and just, each character, each class has an emotion to it. You get the big guys, the juggernauts, and it just looks like they can handle all that gear, you know.
Yeah, and they did. They handled us. Let me just say that.
Yeah.
They destroyed us there.
They pretty much did.
Yeah.
One of the unique things that, for me, is like I think I've said this a few times. The most impressive thing to me about the game is the jump.
Yeah.
And you can. How much freedom does this give you? Because I noticed when we were playing that Blackwater Anomaly, there is so much height variation that you just couldn't do with like just a traditional little jump.
Yeah, as a beginner,
Right?
it's not going to happen that easy. You do have to obviously upgrade your gear. But again, if we go back to white box phase, we do have the left side of the map. You kind of go through a tunnel. And we wanted to control players, because throughout the whole game, you're jetpacking. You even made a comment. You said, "Does it feel like you're always in the air, most of the time?"
I like being in there.
You guys went right, so that caters to that gameplay. If you guys would have went left, you would have been forced to the ground.
Let's not do that.
Yeah, so you can platform. You can go up to get the angle on some of the mobs, but Clancy did a really good job of preparing. For people who like to get up really high, they've got, we've got some guys who snipe up high to keep you on the ground, to keep you moving.
I noticed, yeah. 'Cause I died
I
to
got
them.
sniped constantly.
Yeah, those snipers.
But even in the open world, there's
Yeah.
so much height variation.
Yeah.
Do you feel like as a designer, you have so much more freedom because of the jump mechanic?
Yeah, well, again, like as a world builder, one of the biggest things that we try to do is make sure players feel like the world is infinite. So like when you look up, there's just vast direction that way. You can go that way, and then you've got the melting curtain to make you feel like, there's more gameplay within it. One of the ones you guys got to see today. So yeah, we really want players to feel like the world is endless, and there's a lot of content. It's a big world. So yes.
I know when I was playing on my own, of course, I'm using the little jump jets, right? The little
Noob.
ones,
The noob
whatever they
jets.
are.
Oh,
The
right.
noob jump jets. Okay, we'll call it that.
Give
I
me
was
something
trying.
to work
I
with.
was trying to get all the way up to the top of this little thing over in Shantytown, and I just couldn't do it.
Just couldn't quite
Oh, I swear you
make
have
it.
something hidden up there. There's
Yeah.
got to be something up there.
There are cool things up there. You were
won't
correct.
say no.
I noticed all the when I was playing last night, just these random events happening. All of a sudden, this
Exactly.
purple thunder and all these crabs were coming out. And
Oh, that must have been a tornado.
I think it must
that
be.
was
close to a
it.
tornado.
That was amazing. I was like, no way.
So did you know you can get pulled into the tornado?
Oh, you can. Ouch.
Oh,
I
I'm
got
glad I
pulled
never
in
got
and
pulled
died
in.
in
I
one
just died to one. the
I
other
played
day.
recon, so I kept
But there are
safe
cool
distance.
resources.
nice.
there.
Yeah, smart.
There are cool
Clever
crystals
girl.
and stuff in there. And as
Other people are making videos about it, and
That's it.
he's going to get a lot of attention now
Yeah,
because of that.
absolutely. Like I said, Unity, Unreal, and there's just so many different, packages that you can, kids can, get out there and just try to play. You want to think about layout, design and all that, those other things.
But you got to make stuff.
Yes,
I think
you
is
have
the
to do it.
number one
Yes.
thing. You really got to make stuff
Yeah.
and build your portfolio and have examples of stuff because that's what people look at,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So don't just think, do.
Right, just do.
Experience, just get your hands dirty.
Exactly. And one of the things for me too is growing up in Detroit, a lot of the stars and things that we looked up to, you don't really get to see their path or how they got to where they were. You just see them on TV, and that's one of the reasons why I want to go back and talk to some of the kids at some of the schools, and explain exactly how this stuff works, because there's so many kids who wants to get into gaming, So
When you were a kid, was this even something on your radar that you could imagine doing?
yeah, I used to bug my brother watching him play games, and he would never let me touch any of his
Aw.
Atari
Oh,
games.
Rude.
This is too advanced for you, kid. Just stay back and watch. And then I got to do it to my
Now
younger
who
brother.
has the last laugh?
Right.
Ooh.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
you get to make them now.
Sorry, Dwayne.
Da, da, da.
Yeah.
When you went to school, were you thinking though that that's what you wanted to do? You
Well,
want to make games?
I always wanted to make games, but I never knew how and where to start. So it was always easier and clearer film is not easy to get into either, but at the end of every movie, and there was always a documentary on how you would do this, there was always a camera to pick up. I never knew anything about how to communicate with programmers or who I needed to talk to.
Yeah.
So I was aiming towards film. And, a bunch of us, we would make little short films and do stuff like that. And then, we took that on the road. And I tried at everywhere I could possibly think of. And Big Red Pixel, which is now gone, unfortunately, but they were the ones who gave me a shot at getting in the industry. and they didn't even have the budget. They were like, I'm sorry, we don't have the budget. And I was like, look, I work for free, man. Just let me, show you guys what I can do, And they gave me a chance, and from there, I got fortunate enough to, get seen by Valve, and they got me started. And I mean, it was so hard because in working in film for, I was only there for like a year or two. Valve, doing high res models and stuff, and then taking that to gaming where it was the exact opposite.
Poly.
Yeah, so those guys really, my heart goes out to those guys because they always, took care of me. And then from there I moved on to EA, worked on Lord of the Rings, James Bond, and then went to Sony, worked on a little bit of EverQuest 2, Dark Kingdom, and then we tried to start our business, a little business with Kurt Schilling and Todd McFarlane at 38 Studios, and we worked on that, got Reckoning out the door, and then that didn't quite work out. The company had some bad times. And then my buddies reached out, from Red 5, was like, hey, check us out.
You end up here, so it's a good, good
How many
story.
Which I love it here.
How many trees does your resume kill every time you print it on?
I don't print. Internet saves all
There
that.
we
Yeah,
go.
we don't need real paper for
Right.
that. They can all digital.
I got a tattoo too.
Well, I'm feeling inspired by that
cool.
story. Are you guys feeling totally inspired? All right, well, we need to take the inspiration and get back into the game and play some more Blackwater Anomaly.
Right on.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
So we're going to take a break, and then we're going to get back to community, and then we're going to get back into the game. So we'll be right back.
Cool. Sweet.
It's in there. It's in Blackwater.